We're going to continue talking about GT3, one of the most exciting and certainly fast-growing categories of sports car racing. Please welcome two men to talk a little bit more about it. The man behind the series, Stephane Ratel, and one of his new team entrants, Cesar Campanico from Nova Racing. Good to see you guys. Happy New Year. Stephane, an exciting season ahead for you with the rebirth of the World Championship, the FIA GT Championship. Just talk a little bit more about how it came about.
I mean, we went through a difficult experience, challenging 3 years of going around the planet. We had the privilege of organizing fabulous events in Argentina, in Brazil, in Russia, in China, in Inner Mongolia, in the Middle East. But I think in the current economic situation, it's very difficult for mainly European teams to find the budget to compete around the world. So we're reducing, and we're coming to a much more reasonable, down-to-earth series, which want to keep the same format because the sprint racing was very exciting. So we want to keep the same format, the same level of high competition, but on a much reduced program of only 6 races, 5 of them in Europe and a final in the Middle East, in order to build a big enough grid and to pave the way for further growth.
In 2010, the first year of the series, the cars were GT1. They were very, very high-tech. They were very expensive. You had to move to the more affordable GT3. Do you regret that you went down the GT1 route?
Not at all, because the initial presentation that we made to FIA from the start was to do the World Championship with GT3 cars. But, you know, the FIA is very influenced by the Manufacturer Commission. A group of manufacturers believed that GT3 was not regulated enough to be efficient. So we went on to this new GT1 category, which just proved to be too expensive in the current economic climate. And we never really managed to get enough brands into the series. And we had, after 2 years, to move to GT3, but I think it was already a little bit too late. So now we're restarting on a lower level, and I hope we will grow.
And what people don't realize is to have the FIA involved, you have to have a certain commitment, you have to have a certain number of cars, a certain number of teams, and a certain number of races. So the pressure was on you to keep it high, wasn't it?
I mean, what many people believe, they always think, Stephane Ratel can decide. But in fact, I'm operating championships for the FIA. So, and the FIA is it's a large organization. When you have the manufacturer have the word to say, the promoters have the word to say, the technical department. So you got to get many elements together in order to build a championship. And in a world championship, you also have the obligation of going on 3 different continents, which means that the transportation cost is very high. So we have a lot to put together to make it possible.
Cesar, you have committed to the new GT series with your team, with the Audi R8. What attracted you to that championship?
Well, I've been in FIA GT3 championship since 2009. First as a driver and then as a team owner. My first year was last year. We finished 4th in the FIA GT3, and we always went there because it's the only FIA regulated championship for this kind of car, where normally all the brands are balanced, and we should have a fair race for everyone. And like Stephane said, we of course, for us, we are a Portuguese team, and even if we finished 4th last year in FIA GT3, this year to go on this kind of FIA GT altogether, for us is going to be a big challenge, because we will have a mix of professional and amateur drivers. So, of course, if we finish last year 4th in the FIA GT3, I think we can do very well in Pro-Am category, or I think Pro-Am category, because in Portugal we still don't have professional drivers. So I hope we can be very well on a Pro-Am category and trying to be on at least top 10, we'll see.
In fact, as you're talking, we've got a VT here of some of the highlights from last year. Stephane, it was a very exciting championship and some really important big manufacturer brands committing to GT3. That was always your idea, wasn't it? From 2006, guys that build cars that you can buy, and we go racing with them. It's a concept that works.
It's the biggest achievement. Sorry, it's the biggest achievement that we ever had. It's the number of different brands we have managed to bring to the GT3 category. In February, the FIA will organize the official balance of performance test, where all the manufacturers have to present their cars. And this year we will have 13 different manufacturers. And that's not counting this beautiful machine, which won't be ready yet. So we have, as of today, 14 different brands. And I can tell you, you can go through the history books. Never in the history of motorsport you had 14 different manufacturers involved in one category. That's why it's so exciting.
Yeah, the balance of performance has always been difficult, hasn't it? Because, like so many things, you can't please everybody all of the time.
No, it's only difficult because the losers that don't want to moan about the level of their driver, that don't want to admit that maybe they don't have the right setup, are always moaning about the balance of performance. But if you look across the championship, you will find out that some people criticize the balance of championship of the balance in the British GT, when the same cars with the same balance will win in Germany, or the same car with the same balance will win in Brazil. The fact that we have so many different championships around the world that apply the same rules just show that across the line, the balance of performance is fair for everyone.
It's exciting times. We wish you well. Thanks for coming on. Ladies and gentlemen, Stephane Ratel and Cesar Campanico. Thank you, gents.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.